I did try to sign lesson with one of my students who we do one-on-one work together. And when we first started it, it was kind of like was too much too fast. So we moved back and we did does, we did helping, and we did some of those bases that are really stable and just really getting comfortable with what a suffix, what a prefix,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and morpheme and all of that means.
Nice.
And then he went crazy on it. Like he is so good at understanding because, as you said, like it activates the thinking that these people are able to do, but they just can't remember the sounds that go with random signs, you know? So now we did signature again and he got it and he understood that sign and signature and signet and that they're all related. And now we're moving on to move and we're looking at like what happens when a vowel is added on the suffix. And now we're going to start sorting our suffixes, you know, like, but he's excited about it and has the capacity to do it. And so it's really, really, really exciting.
Annie, describing her experience trying SWI for the first time, the structured word inquiry. This is just after her first session of a three-session online course with me that I model lessons from my book, Teaching How the Written Word Works. And she tried with the very first lesson in there that I modeled, which is on the word sign with the matrix. Now, you can hear from what you described the kind of crazy student engagement and excitement that is being generated by this lesson. That is, Annie's just trying to do this stuff. And that is not just excite that this is important for learning because that attention is right at the orthography system. It's a tight, close attentional focus because understanding is happening. Of course, that increases the quality of orthographic mapping for the words that have been studied, and that has benefits for vocabulary reading and spelling. However, I want you to notice like the new questions about spelling that he has now with curiosity and interest. He's asking about suffixing changes and he's noticing there's something about vowels. Well, that is being prompted, that curiosity being prompted because I prompted it in that first lesson with the word sum for signature, which is the only word sum from this matrix, or well, the only one that I emphasized where this is this vowel suffix replacing the E. So now that that curiosity is sparked, the teacher, oh, I also get to point to the fact that we get the pronunciation change of that T in designate and signature, which we're talking about. Of course, the pronunciation change of this base is one of the reasons I've picked it. It's so clear in sign and signal and design. But now that they've been sparked by this, the next lesson that she can go into actually gets to the pattern in a scientific inquiry of what kind of suffixes cause the change, which then is tested against this bank of words, which is something that we do in the course too. But what I want you to see is how just after this first attempt, Annie is noticing the student recognizing his own capacity and is activating his thinking. So I just is exactly the kind of excitement you want to see going. And this is just after one session and work with this book that just allows you to point at structure. And I think what we're seeing here is nothing motivates like understanding, both for the student and the teacher. But let's go back to Annie. So while I was working on this video, Annie wrote me another follow-up mail that I just couldn't resist but include. So I'm going to read it here and actually model how we actually work with the text in these workshops. So Annie wrote, I'm so excited about this learning and how it is impacting my understanding about spelling. Today I wrote the word association like this, just let you see it, and noticed it didn't look correct. I checked the spelling in the text I was taking notes on, and as I fixed it, I immediately thought about the base and prefix. I noticed the double S, actually, we'll show you it's two S's, like the one in assignment, being caused by the AS prefix and base starting with S. I connected the SOCI part and looked it up on Etym Online and saw I was correct. All of this happening so fast. I will never confuse where to use the S or C in that word again. So exciting. So I want you to notice what is going on here. So she's working on the word association and she realizes she's misspelled it. And when she sees the correct spelling, she sees that it didn't have those two C's. No, she has a visual confusion. But when she sees the accurate spelling, she's linking her thinking to what she learned in assignment. And this is why it can't be called a double S because she's noticing the bases and prefixes, and that AS was a prefix with this base. This isn't a double S, it's two S's. And now we can see that that is going to be a common thing that we're going to notice about when you have those consonants near each other. It happens a lot. But just notice how this quick she's having these kinds of experiences, studying these words and encountering her own questions and resolving right away. I have to finish my word sum here. So I'll do the word sum for association, which would be AS plus SOCI plus ATE plus ION is rewritten as, and then we check the joins. We have a vowel suffix. We replace the E. Vowel suffix, but there's no change. So just to make sure I have room, I'm going to spell out the result, which is AS SOCI, AT, replace the EION, and that's how you write association. And when you go back, we're going to see that I was asking Annie if all this great work she was doing, the kid was talking about the prefix and suffixes, were you spelling out loud? And she was, and the kid loves it. So we'll leave the last words to Annie talking about her students learning. Cheers. And
Um,
when he's writing his word sums and when you're writing your word sums, were you doing it out loud at the same time, or would it be silent?
no, he was saying it. He was love the is rewritten as, and he says like he's so into the methodical kind of like is rewritten as, and it's not equal, but it's is rewritten as.